Sori.
And this is Fleetwood Mac
Landslide.
Landslide. I think we've done like 2 or 3 Fleetwood Mac songs, right? I think. For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. There are multiple ways to get your song reviewed. Dear listener, my favorite is the community option, $1 to gig continue at Patreon. And on top of that, you get to join an alliance, you hang out with people. Speaking of alliances, this was an alliance pick.
Yep, this was from...
Which alliance was this?
All I keep seeing is the 2 A's.
So...
Anarchy 99.
Another Anarchy 99
Actually
one?
the 2 9s, but I don't know.
This is so weird that Anarchy 99 would pick this band. They're usually...
We've never done any of these songs.
Black metal bands or whatever. Okay.
I don't even know who they are.
So you join an alliance, you come together with people, and that helps us determine what songs we do. Or you can take the Ronin option, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You do that 3
Patreon,
times.
PayPal, links are in the description of this video.
You do that 3 times, then you get your thingamajiggy done. Now, the great...
You do it 3 times, and the price of the song reaction goes down to $75 for perpetuity. So what you saying?
The perpetuity. The great DL Beluga has opened up a store on Amazon. He's got his little business going. So if you've got folks,
first business.
If you've got folks interested in, was it shoes
Look,
for a
if
steal?
you need shoes. Oh, I don't know.
So that's what he calls it. Shoes for a steal from DL Beluga.
Everybody needs shoes.
We'll start putting the link in the description for the homie. Shout out to Beluga. Okay, so having said that, Fleetwood Mac Landslide.
For anybody who doesn't know who DL Beluga is, that's our son. He's 15.
Yeah, he's got like 19 names. And
yeah.
He's got a quadrillion aliases and... It's fun stuff. It's fun stuff. But we'll put the link to his store in the description if you want to get some shoes, some quality shoes. All right, let's do it. Can't believe this is
Anarchy 99.
Anarchy.
Well, we have never listened to one, so they're probably introducing us.
I took my love, took it down. Climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down. Climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide will bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. Oh, the landslide will bring it down.
This was not my first time hearing this song.
Really?
So sorry, you guys. I just never knew the name of the song. I listened to this song so many times, like over and over and over. And over. You know how you obsessively listen to a song? This one was one of mine. I didn't know the name of it. Yeah, I don't.
Did you think it was a country song?
I don't know what I thought. I can't. This is the weirdest thing, but I cannot place. I know that it was when I was like 15, 16 years old, like young teenager. I just kept listening to it on repeat. I don't even know where I first heard it. It might have been the job that I worked played like older songs, and I don't know if that's where I heard it or if this was in a movie, because as soon as I got my license, I started like renting movies from the library and like watching them without my parents' knowledge because they were super strict. So I'd watch them like in my room or whatever with my sister or without my sister. I know.
What a rebel this
I know,
one
but
was,
you know
huh?
what? They were like I mean, if this song was in a movie, what type of movie would it be? There's always some tragic love story.
Yeah, you
Hold
like
on, let me
those.
look at that.
You like those tragic love stories.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyway,
Mom.
so I do. In a movie. How do you find out if it was in a
Jack
movie?
Frost. I mean, it would be in a, just put soundtrack, I guess. Landslide Fleetwood Mac soundtrack. There you go. I'm sure it's been featured in a bunch of them. What film is the song Landslide by Fleetwood Mac in? In the period of
1998.
Jack Frost.
Yeah, I don't think that's where
Was
I
that
saw
right?
it. 1998 Jack Frost. Is that like that cartoony one?
Yeah, it's the one with the guy, he's a snowman or whatever. I mean, it was in a lot. It was in Frequency. It was in Jerry Maguire.
Nope, I didn't see any of those.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Forrest Gump.
Nope.
Anyway,
What's this? What's Jerry Maguire?
that's Show Me the Money. I don't think you would have watched
No.
it. Anyway,
So I don't know where I first heard it, but I had it and I was able to listen to it on repeat. And I don't know if I recorded it with my little, we had a little, like, what do you call that? It was like a little tape player, and you would record, you could rewind, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if that's how I had it, but it was definitely, I don't know.
yeah, good times. Good times were had by all.
When she says, like,
I
seeing
think
seeing her reflection in the snow-covered hills, she's dead, right? That's what she means.
I didn't interpret it that way. I just
And
interpreted.
if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring you down.
Yeah, I didn't interpret it that way. I just thought she was just speaking poetically.
And what did you think she was saying poetically?
Well, if he just remembers her, because that was the place they used to go and hang out.
Well, why wouldn't she just be there with him?
Because they broke up.
Oh, this is a breakup song? Interesting.
Well, that's what I thought. You had the girl killed.
Oh, it just depended on my mood.
Oh, Mirror in the Sky, what is love? Like, so I just thought that because she said I built my life around you. Mm-hmm. Which
Yeah, the person died. She died or the person died. That was always kind of like my thing with it.
yeah,
Somebody died.
I just looked at it like they were together. She built her whole life around him, and the things were beautiful. They had a little spot in the mountains, and then they broke up, and their breakup creates a, like a landslide type of thing.
Yeah.
Because I've been
That's
afraid of
interesting.
changing. So like,
Yeah.
she's been afraid of dying.
No. The song would kind of like change, and it depended on when I listened to it, like what it meant to me. But like one of the meanings was the whole, okay, well, I've been afraid of changing because I built my life around you. Like, you know, when your life is with somebody else and it's very intertwined, like our lives are very intertwined. If something happened to one of us, it's not like just like around lunchtime you'd be like, oh my gosh, like she's not here for lunch. It's like all day, every day we're here together. So she had a life where they did like a lot together, and it's time, like maybe he's been gone for a while and it's time for her to make changes.
Were they in the band again?
Oh, I don't know.
What's the name of this band? Fleetwood Mac? Anyway, go ahead. Keep going.
So then she knows, like, but time makes you bolder. Even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Like, as she's aging, she knows, like, it's time to, like, kind of, like, let it be. And
let
try
what
to,
be?
like, let it, like, he died, and so...
Where did the death come from? Where's the death? Where did the person die in the song?
Probably, maybe it has to do with the sound of the song. I don't know. It just had a real, like, sorrowful, like...
Well, yeah, I think breakups are sorrowful.
Well, of course breakups are sorrowful, but in my interpretation of it, somebody died. But it was weird because it would like flip. And then I would picture that I was dead in my reflection on the snow-covered mountain. I think I like, because this one has like this slow sort of like sad but serious sort of, I don't know. It has a very good feeling inside that I like.
Well, you
to
like
feel.
being sad. You like feeling sad.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not on purpose. I don't like feeling sad if we're in an argument. Like, I don't want to feel that kind of sad. But I like a sad song sad. And I don't really like, especially lately, I don't really like a sad movie. Mm-hmm. That last movie where the guy, I thought it was the girl that was dead the whole time. It turned out he was the one that was dead. Yeah. That was it. It was a wrap. I had a hard time to stop crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can picture if I died. I mean, that's sad for you, but, you know, I'm going on. It's very sad for you. But if you die, that's intolerable. Then she says, "O mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life?" Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It probably is a breakup song, but that wasn't how it...
I mean, it could be both. I mean, it's art. You could interpret it either way.
Time makes you get... Yeah.
But this is the whole thing where people romanticize codependency. And it's not a very romantic idea because you build your life around somebody and then something happens and then people don't know how to function. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, this is like one of the running themes of the channel. If it's a relationship song, like I'm always the guy that's like, that's why you shouldn't do that. And you're always the one that's like, but it's so romantic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
honey, I disagree with you on this. Like, I know, like, you know, obsessive codependency is not good or healthy for anybody. But at the same time, if you love somebody, like, you're going to feel the effects of their loss.
Well, do you think that that's what I'm saying? Do you think I'm saying, like, you should be in a relationship and prosecute it in such a way that you don't feel the effects of their loss?
That's exactly what you're saying.
I'm just saying, like, it's a bad play to build your life around a human being. Like, I think you should, you know, that's the entire point of the whole building.
How is your life not built around the person you're married to? Like, how can that even happen?
Well, we're Christians, right? So, like, when Jesus said, don't build your...
The way he looks at me. People are time-stamping it. They're like, another moment where Vin looks at Sori, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, remember when I couldn't find the thing?
Well, it's just, we're Christians.
Yeah.
So Jesus talked about building your house on the rock or building it on sand. And you feel that he's saying building your house on your spouse is building it on the rock?
No, obviously not, babe. But
she said I built my whole life around you.
Yeah, but yes, we're Christians and our life is built on the rock of Christ.
Well,
but at the same time,
not all of ours.
Our lives are built around each other. Like, that's... Like, what part of your life, beside all your arguments on Facebook, but aside from that, like, I'm in your life all over the place. Like, it's built around me.
No, I haven't built my life around you.
Well, when you define build your life around someone.
The foundational aspect of my life to where if something happened to you, I would be devastated, but it wouldn't be a landslide that completely destroys my life.
She didn't
That's what a landslide is. Right? Landslide destroys everything. Something breaks, and then the land slides down, and there's complete destruction afterwards.
I don't think that she was meaning it that literally. And when you say built your life around, built your life around and built your life on are two different things.
I don't think so in the universe of this song.
Yeah, I disagree with you.
Because
And I don't even want you saying anything negative about this song I like so much.
well, I didn't say it was negative. I think it's a true reflection of a lot of people. I'm just saying that's to me this is Exhibit A as to why that is unhealthy. Because what do you mean I'm taking the landslide thing literally? I'm not taking it literal. I don't think it's a literal landslide, but I do think the effects of the landslide means that her life is ruined.
Babe. No. Well, the landslide will bring you down. No, I disagree with you. I think
that's
that,
okay.
Like,
that's the point of discussing the lyrics.
If you and I had some, like, let's say that we were, oh, okay. So let's say when we move, we start going to the ocean a lot in the evenings together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then like, let's say something happened to you and I moved far away from the ocean and then I saw the ocean again. Oh, I don't even want to talk about this. It makes me so sad. And I saw the ocean again. It would make me feel like a landslide was happening. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, like a landslide is talking about like a very destructive natural phenomena, right? Like,
I don't think that's what she said. I don't think that her life was entirely built on that person and her life is ruined whenever.
what do you mean? I would be.
A landslide doesn't cover an entire area. It covers a specific area. Like there is a landslide that would have. I think that that's. I don't see it like you see it.
Look, there's a landslide.
Yeah,
Look at
but
that
not
road.
that. It's the road.
Look at the road.
A portion of the road, but not the
whole damn
entire
road is destroyed.
No, it's not the whole road. It's not the whole road.
How are those people in that car doing? Like, that's destruction. Like, look.
Yeah, it's destruction, but I mean, honey,
People die in landslides.
babe, if I died in a car crash tomorrow, you would feel a landslide. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I just don't think it's healthy. It's not something I want for the kids, right? Like, I don't want the kids to be in a situation where they're with somebody and then they break up or the person dies and, like, their life is over. A landslide.
It's not over, but temporarily, you're gonna feel those effects pretty drastically.
I don't know, man.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
I totally and completely do not agree with what I'm about to say, but if I die and you're able to just move on without feeling the effects of a landslide, fine, but I literally do not believe that at all.
Well, honey, as I said, I would be very hurt if you died or if you left or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is my life isn't built on you.
She didn't say built on.
I don't think there's
She
much...
said built around.
I don't think there's much dichotomy between built around and built on.
No, there is. If your life is built on someone, then if that person leaves, it's gone. Oh, then you would have a landslide happen if the ground went away. But I don't think that's what she means. I don't think it's like this and that together. I don't think so.
It's
a
song. You can interpret it a bunch of ways.
Yeah, because if your life is built around, like for instance, the house that we're gonna pick, like the house that we're getting, why are you picking the house that we're gonna pick when we eventually find it?
Well, because you want it.
Okay. So how is that not like a life built around me? Like you're making decisions based off of me. I make decisions based off of you. It's built around each other.
Well,
it's not built on each other.
Joe Biden's going to cut us a $2,000 stimulus check. That doesn't mean he's building his life around us. Just because you get just because you
like
get
that's a small piece of something that's happening in your life.
Just because you get a gift for somebody doesn't mean
What
you're building your whole life around them.
What are you talking about, babe? It's like everything within our lives are intertwined. You wake up, you come in the office. I get up, I make a coffee. I bring you the coffee. So in your mornings, you get a coffee with MCT oil in it.
Good little show we got. A good little gig.
Well, you've got to, you know what I mean? And so if I died, you'd be in here. Nobody would come and bring you your coffee.
Why are you telling me that?
Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like you're just, are you trying to make a good show or something? That doesn't even make any sense what you're saying. Build your life around and build your life on. Everybody that's in a relationship long term that is in a serious relationship is going to build their life around that person.
I've been pretty consistent about this topic right on the channel. I've been pretty consistent about that.
Yeah, but this is not.
So it's not like I'm not speaking out of character, and neither are you. I'm surprised.
I don't think that
I'm surprised that you're surprised.
Because I don't think that you're. Like, on the other stuff, some of it I'm like, I could kind of see what he's saying. But, like, who doesn't build their life around somebody when you're in a relationship together? Of course you're going to do that.
I don't think that's healthy. is what I'm saying.
So are you going to buy a house separate than me? Or are you going to...
I don't think that follows. I don't think it follows to say that, okay, somebody you love wants something, so you get it for them. I don't think that means you're building your life on them.
No, your entire day, our days are like patterned out so we can have time together.
Well, I mean, I don't think necessarily that all aspects of our relationship are necessarily healthy. We've had those conversations too, right? So I don't think we're a good example to talk about in this song. Most people are not in the situation that we're in. We're literally around each other 24/7.
Yeah, I know, but people don't have to do that. But like, think of
so
other
I'm saying,
couples.
like, our relationship is not a good exhibit.
Okay, who's the healthiest relationship couple-wise that you know?
I think the healthiest relationships are where the people don't need each other, but they want each other. I think that those are the
And then
healthiest
do they
relationships.
Build their lives around each other?
I don't think
Make
so.
it so they can find each other throughout the day?
She said, I built my life. Yeah, I don't. Like, we don't have to, jump
and
on it.
secondly,
We
in
don't
the
have
song,
to, like, argue
no, we
about
do.
it.
In the song, she says, if he's,
I tried, ladies and gentlemen. I tried,
let's say
America.
they got
I tried.
divorced, or they split up, or they did something. They're not together anymore. Then why is she saying so? She's saying she built her life around him, and I saw my reflection. I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. She's not saying she saw his reflection. She's not saying he saw her reflection. She's saying she saw her own reflection in the snow-covered hills till the landslide brought her down.
That she doesn't have any identity.
She lost herself.
That tells me that she doesn't have any identity outside of him. That's what it tells me. And she can't see herself in any other context other than their situation, which again I think is unhealthy.
Well, that I agree is unhealthy.
But the next line where she talks about building her life around him is healthy.
Well, no. If you're going to look at that line, then we're going to have to put that in context of that. And that means...
I mean, there's a million ways to interpret these situations, and a lot of our interpretation comes from what we see in life and what we've experienced in life. And so you're a lot more of the romantic type, person, and I'm a lot more of the, you get cynical about those things when you see what I've seen as a kid, and then have been through a couple experiences, and you start you interpret things differently. So a lot of this is just our own experiences and all that. I never had like those situations where I would have these whimsical understanding of relationships, because when I was a kid, all I saw was people at each other's throat the whole time. So I never sat in a car and was like, ooh, being married, blah blah blah. Like, I was never like that. But you.
No, I saw my father spoiling my mother and babying her, whatever she wanted, and she would go on Sundays after church. We'd go to the grocery store, so they would have a discussion about what we were going to eat, which was always super exciting, because when my father was involved in the discussion, it was always a more fun meal.
Right. So
wait,
of course
I'm not done. She would go into the store to get the stuff, and then on the way out, almost every week, he'd be sitting back in there, and he'd be watching, the radio was going or whatever, and then when my mom would come out, he'd perk up a little bit, and then he would say, your mother is the most beautiful woman.
Second. But yeah.
I was a child at the time. But those things where I was like, in my mind, I thought that every husband was like that with their wife. Like that there's all the other women in the world, but you're the greatest. And not because you're like faking your own mind to say that, or saying it because you have to say it, but literally like you're in love with that woman, and that's your woman. You love her.
You and your mom are very beautiful women. I mean, you're both very, very beautiful. So, I mean,
I'll send my mom the link to this video.
he lucked out, she lucked out. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he lucked out, I lucked out. She lucked out too. But like, I mean, it's an extremely depressing song, because whatever happened, I think we could both agree it did not end well, right? And I don't know. My advice would be, stop going to those mountains, lady. Holy moly. Looks like she's having a hard time.
That's so weird, because
she
said over here.
But she said at the
I
end, if you see
switched.
mine. Yeah. So look, it could just be, they broke up and that was her spot, and you can't go there anymore. And I had that situation actually with my ex. It was funny because you were like, it was our 10th wedding anniversary, I think it was, and I bought a ring off of your family to replace the one that, anyway, and then I took her to New York because we always used to chill out in Central Park, and like we were around there, and it was just like, it was a pretty depressing moment because that was our spot in Central Park. Mm-hmm. Like that was our place, and like it was a completely different feeling. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where like that whole chapter of my life, which was extremely important and very formative, was like it just wasn't the same. And that's a hard thing to deal with, And we both kind of looked at each other and like we just turned around and left. Thank God it was raining outside, so we had an excuse. We could blame the Most High and say, oh, it's raining. So we went out somewhere else and whatever. But yeah, those when you have a spot that you constantly used to go to. And the other thing, it was like it's interesting too because she talks about childhood, and it was kind of like one of those moments where you realize, I don't know about lost your innocence, but like you've grown past your childhood, because we were kids. We were 16, 17, cutting school and going there, and then we had no money, and her mom used to give her $6 or whatever, and she'd always get this chicken cutlet sandwich, and like she wouldn't share it with me. We always
I thought there was gonna be some like,
nah,
we split it, and but that's right. I actually remember that.
Shorty, she wasn't like that.
She's very serious about it.
She was extremely serious about it, but
and
of
she's
course,
really, really small too. So.
Yeah, but man, she could put it away. Holy moly! But like, like those kinds of situations are, Now, I mean, at the time I was mad and we used to like argue. I'm like, we're together. What are you doing? But she was like, I'm hungry. I'm like, but we were kids. You know what I mean? So it's like
teenagers.
You're just, it's like a year or two away from Dorian's age. You know what I mean? So So like going to those places, and there was we were sitting down by the fountains, and people would shoot movies there. They'd shoot movies there all the time, like because it's New York City.
Yeah,
Central Park.
Okay, yeah.
So there were movies always being shot there, and I remember one time like somebody was shooting a scene by where we usually used to hang out, and like I'm like, holy moly! But she'd been used to it because she had, I was, I was not a New York native, so I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, and we got in a fight about that. It's just like all these landmarks that you have memories of, and so when we went there after our 10-year wedding, it was just like, it was, completely different situation. So I can definitely like, I can relate to being like, oh, you have a place and then you just grow up, and she talks about childhood and, getting older and moving past that, and that's part of it. Like, especially when I don't know, maybe they were young when they got together. When you're younger, everything's all, and it's a little bit different with us though, because it's like with you, I do have like the traditional sort of fleur in your stomach type of thing, and all that jazz, like traditional romance thing that I didn't believe existed since I was a kid. So it was never something that I was even looking for. So it was one of those situations, and obviously I'm not the most romantic guy, so I was just kind of in the car with you, and I was like, well, I'm taking care of you financially, you're taking care of the kids, well, we just like, whatever, and you're like,
this is proposal.
This is how you're proposed, like, these people with silly conspiracy theories, like, it's an epically boring situation. So, like, that's the thing is like, and it's like I'm trying to like, figure out ways to be, the like more traditional, because you're more like traditional storybook type of thing. And so the one time I actually tried to be that way, you completely destroyed it. So I
found out he brought the ring.
Yeah. I had shot like
you should give it to the patrons.
I shot a video on the way to getting Sori the ring, and I was gonna do this whole thing, and I was gonna do this big reveal, and I had hidden the ring in a thing, and I had like, I was doing this whole thing, and I was gonna put it on Patreon, maybe even the main channel, because it was like, I was like, yo, this wouldn't have been possible if you guys didn't support us on Patreon, blah blah blah, and like, Sori just couldn't do it. She was checking in the bank accounts and all that, and then she figured it out. So then when I got her the ring, she already knew it, and it was obvious that she already knew it. So that was the end of romance for me. So that was actually pretty hard. Like to this moment, like I'm still not over that whole situation.
I know. I
was like, all right, this is a reason I don't do any of this dumb shit. It was such a terrible situation. But anyway, yeah, so like obviously I, working toward become, so it's like working backwards for me. Like I'm trying to, you get more and more attempts at trying to be a traditional sort of lovey-dovey fairy tale situation with me, but it's very difficult at times just because of my, disposition. What do you give the song?
For me, it's an 11 because it's got some feelings.
It's an
there.
11.
It's got feelings.
It's a solid 9.2 for me. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they got back together. I don't know.
After they both died.
Well, you keep saying they died. I don't think they died. Then out.
Sori out.
Gone.